these are all the books. So gradually, as we progress, we will be reading all of these books. Out of that, we are almost half the way through the first book. And then we'll continue reading. And then eventually, once we finish the category 1 and then category 2, then we come to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then finally, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So beautiful, right? Prabhupada's whole lifetime of service to ISKCON and, to this moment and to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is all in these books. And we are so fortunate that we are reading these. So, are you all enjoying the reading? Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Thank you. So, we will continue. Yes. So, that's a good point to start. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing, and then we will say our pranam mantras real quick, and then we will get into our reading for today. Okay. You all can unmute also yourselves, and then we can all say together. Okay. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai. Okay, so little bit of recap, okay, from last few weeks that we have been reading this book. In the very, very first chapter, what was the name of the chapter? Who remembers? About happiness. We learned, and the book Prabhupada is explaining in the first chapter, the temporary happiness, the eternal happiness, or, we could say transcendental, which has to do nothing with this, matter, the happiness that we derive from this temporary matter. Then, the difference between the two and how we are, at the stage where we are just enjoying this temporary matter. The problem is that it is temporary in nature, just how it's named. And at some point, we have to give up all that. Everything, whatsoever, like whatever possessions, whatever assets, whatever, relatives, and what to say of everything else around us, but even this body, our own body that we consider ourselves. So that was the first chapter. Second chapter, Prabhupada explained, understanding that we are not the body, we are the eternal souls. What do? We remember Krishna. And the third chapter, we remember Krishna, and we, by chanting his name, that's the highest yoga dharma that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought to us in the age of Kali Yoga, the chanting of the holy name. And in this chapter, what are we focusing? How can we remember Krishna always, satatam, right? So this was the breaking point where we were discussing how this is done. How is it possible to become Krishna conscious at every step of life? Actually, Krishna makes it very easy for us to understand, right? So in this verse we discussed this actually. I went a little back so we get a little recap of the whole thing. We were talking, do you all remember what we were talking in this topic? That no matter, even if we are going to the school, is that a Krishna conscious thing? It could be if our intentions of going to the school are what? If you're going to the school, not to, one day, we finish our education, one day we get the big jobs and, earn money or living and then, just enjoy our life. If that's the intention, no, then it is not a Krishna conscious activity. But if we are going to the school for the reason that, eventually, when whatever means of skill that we acquire, we use all that to earn and to earn so that we become Krishna conscious, so that we can spread Krishna conscious, so that we can have a house that in which, we can give Krishna consciousness to our loved ones, to our families, to extended families, and to whoever we can, make a house as a center for, in which Krishna is the center of our living. Then even going to school today is Krishna conscious. It is a devotional service because all that, slowly, slowly, slowly will help you in becoming yourself Krishna conscious and spreading Krishna conscious to others. So that was the main theme in this chapter. So we'll continue reading. Okay, so we'll start from here, the verse. How is this done? How is it possible to become Krishna conscious at every step of life? Actually, Krishna makes it very easy for us. Rasoham apshukanteya prabhasmi sashishuryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham nirshu. O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the taste in water, the light of the sun and the moon. The syllabus Om in the Vedic mantras, I am the sound and in ether and ability in man. How is it possible? See, the taste that we can have, like the sour, sweet, or bitter, or what other flavors that we have, salty. All that taste we can experience only, that because of the presence of water in it. Say if the substance is completely dry, which has no element of water in it at all, there is no way our tongue, see on our tongue also we have saliva and we have those taste buds, but the taste buds needs the liquidity to absorb from that whatever substance is there, and in that it tastes. So anything to taste, it needs an element of water in it. And Krishna is saying that I am that taste that is in the water, right? We can have a transformed forms, something like salty, sweet, and all that, but that original taste in water, that original taste, or the rasa, is Krishna saying that is me. That is like Krishna is the source of everything, all of that rasa. The light in the sun. So every light, every bit of light that we have in this material world right now, even when it is dark right now, it's dark right now, right? All of us, or most of us. And it's, the daylight is, of course, the sunlight. And even in the night, the lamps, the bulbs, the tubes, whatever we see, they are somewhere or the other sourced from the sunlight. That's how the electricity is derived from the sunlight. It's called what? Pavaka, right? Electricity. If there is no sunlight, there is no way to produce electricity. So electricity is also, the production of electricity is also because of the sun. So indirectly, sun is all the source of the light. And Krishna here is saying that I am that light in the sun and the moon. The syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, that is the root mantra. Om is the root word, or we could say root mantra of all the mantras. And Krishna is saying, I am that root mantra. I am the surrounding, I am the sound in the ether. So ether, for anything to travel, the sound to travel, it needs the ether. That's like the space, basically. And Krishna is saying that ability of hearing or sound, that is me. That's Krishna saying, I am that sound in ether. And then the ability in man. Now, ability in man, very, very important to understand. Whatever we are able to do, we are able to pick up our hand and pick up this book right here, right? Pick up a glass of water even to drink, or pick up a spoon to eat, or use the hands to cook. For whatever ability that we have, where is that ability coming from? Krishna is saying, I am that ability in the man. Now you see, we all know that there are robots, right? In this day and age, and in this civilization that we have, we've seen a lot of things are done by robots, right? We find very simple ones in Costco to vacuum, and then we find some sophisticated ones in the factories that they can like pick up some things, and you just feed in the data, and then they can carry on to the work, and then load things, unload things. Those things are done by robots to a certain extent, and which is increasing slowly as we see, as there is more and more advancement in the technology. Now, how much coding is needed to make those robots work? Have you thought? A lot of coding. If you or anyone of you, or your parents are in the field of technology, or with information technology or IT software, they would know, and you can ask them, or you could even search yourself. There is tons and tons of lines of code that is written just for the robot to pick up one glass of water from like the table and bring it to here to this. Because first of all, the grip has to be correct, right? Then the angle in which the hand moves, that has to be correct. Certain degrees, certain length and height. And then when it is closer to the water, it has to fix in that. It has to grip the what you say, tongs, or finger-like things into that glass, and then tighten those the tongs or the finger-like things, and then get hold of the cup, and then slowly bring it back. How many lines of code, just for us to imagine how many lines of codes. We are just speaking normal English, but for a machine to do all that takes so long, right? When they have to write all that long, lengthy codes. And that's just picking up one glass. How easy it is for us to just go pick up the glass. We don't need any coding. So what has Krishna has already done that coding in this body, that material body that we have, which is doing things on its own, just based on our desires. And so much engineering has gone into making these bodies. And then that ability, and even after that, all the number of codes that is written into the robot, if the robot is not charged, if there is no battery, would the robot work? Would the robot work?
No.
No. Why? Because it needs some kind of power to do stuff. Then it could be in the form of electricity. Now for us, we don't need any electricity chargers to do all that, right? But Krishna is saying here, I am that ability in the man. So you see how easy it is. Do we, like day in, day out, eat every day? We see light, our own existence, like without light, we just fall asleep in the night, right? And then we speak, that sound we hear, and that ability, everything that we do, that ability comes from Krishna. So is it hard really to remember, if we know, if we have that consciousness that Krishna is the source of everything, and can anybody deny? Is it not true? Because Bhagavad Gita is the book which is used as the morality when people, take oath in the presidency, in whatever, in the court, and that's the book that they would usually use, right, for making an oath. So would that Bhagavad Gita lie to us? No, right? And Krishna, who has given this Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is himself speaking that. So you see, there is no doubt about it that everything that has been said in Bhagavad Gita is absolutely true. So if we have that consciousness, it is not hard to remember Krishna. And when we come to that consciousness that Krishna is the source of everything, understand that our relationship to the Lord, that we are the part and parcel of the same source. And he is the supreme. And why are we meant? It is not hard for us to remember Krishna if we understand, if we come to that consciousness. And once we come to that consciousness, and if we remember Krishna in everything we do, there is no way we will do anything wrong in our life. Would we do anything wrong? We know that ability that Krishna is giving us, that's coming from Krishna. Would we use that ability to do anything wrong? If we really, really listen to our inner hearts, who always guides us to do the right thing. So it is not hard to remember Krishna. We just have to come to that understanding. We have to come to that consciousness. And by whose mercy do we understand all this? By Guru. Our dear Guru, Srila Prabhupada, has translated all this. He has written explicitly, he has written purports. He has written these small books for us to read and come to this understanding, listen to these lectures. And slowly we develop, in that stage in life where we can fully be Krishna conscious. Okay, so that was a little background into what this theme of this chapter is. Would somebody like to read a small paragraph here?
Can Jyotsna read?
Yes, go ahead, Jyotsna.
The first one where it says, in this verse?
Yes.
In this verse, Sri Krishna is describing how we can become fully Krishna consciousness in all stages of life. All living entities must drink water. The taste of water is so nice that when we are thirsty, nothing but water seems to do. No manufacturer can create the pure taste of water. We can thus remember Krishna or God when we drink water. No one can avoid drinking water every day of his life, so God consciousness is there. How can we forget?
Very nice. You want to continue one more paragraph, Jyotsna?
Okay. Similarly, when there is some illumination that is also Krishna, the original effulgence in the spiritual sky, the Brahma, how do you pronounce it?
Brahma Jyoti.
Brahma Jyoti emanates from the body of Krishna. The material sky is covered. The very nature of the material universe is darkness, which we experience at night. It is being artificially illuminated by the sun, by the reflected light of the moon, and by electricity. Where is this illumination coming from? The sun is being illuminated by the Brahma Jyoti, or the bright effulgence of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is no need for the sun, moon, or electricity, because there everything is illuminated by Brahma Jyoti on this earth. However, we can remember Krishna whenever we see some illumination from the sun.
Very nice, right? So the two things Prabhupada is explaining here: the taste. Nobody can live without the water, and basic necessities like we need the daylight, and the water. And likewise, Prabhupada is going to further explain about the other aspects like the sound, and then whatever we speak, that ability, and whatever we do, that ability. Okay, so let's continue. Who else would like to read? Okay, Manohar, you have your hands raised. Go ahead. When we
So
chant,
oh, there. When we chant the Vedic mantras which begin with Om, we can also have Krishna. Om like Krishna, Om like Hare Krishna is also an address to God, and Om is also Krishna. Sabada means sound, and whenever we hear any sound, we should know that it is a vibration of the original sound of a pure spiritual sound Om or Hare Krishna. Whatever sound we hear in the material world is but a reflection of that original spiritual sound Om. In this way, when we hear sound, when we drink water, when we see some illumination, we can remember Krishna. We can do this, then we will not remember God. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. In this way, we can remember Krishna 24 hours a day. And in this way, Krishna is with us. Of course, Krishna is always with us. But as soon as we remember this, his presence is factual and felt.
very nice. Thank you, Manohar. So, Prabhupada is explaining in this, whenever we are hearing something, that sound, the original sound is the Om in anything. And that's Krishna. He's saying, Krishna is saying, I'm the sound, and the syllable Om. There are 9 different processes for association with God. The first method of association is Shravanam. Who knows that verse? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So 9 processes. By reading Bhagavad Gita, we hear the speech of Sri Krishna, which means that we are actually associating with Krishna or God. We should always remember when we speak of Krishna, we refer to God. In as much as we associate with God, we go on hearing the word Krishna and his name. The contamination of material nature is reduced. In understanding that Krishna is the sound, illumination, water, and so many other things, it becomes impossible to avoid Krishna. Can we avoid drinking water? Can we avoid being in the light? Can we avoid by like not speaking anything, just being mum all day, all night, days and after days? No, we cannot avoid that. It is impossible to avoid. Just that we don't know that Krishna is the source of everything. And that's why by Guru's mercy, Prabhupada is he's opening up. If wasn't it Prabhupada, how would we have ever known? How many of us would have just, by our own inquisitive nature, searched for some scriptures and, read Bhagavad Gita and fully be able to understand that? Very little on our own endeavor, almost like negligible, right? But by Guru's mercy, Prabhupada has opened up this to everyone who is, willing to take this Krishna consciousness and then know Krishna. And then by knowing, then it's just impossible to forget. You come to know the source. Krishna is the source of everything. If we can remember Krishna in this way, our association with him is permanent. Association with Krishna is like association with sunshine. When there is sunshine, there is no contamination. As long as one is out in the ultraviolet rays of the sun, he will not be diseased. In the Western medicine, sunshine is recommended for all kinds of disease. And according to the Vedas, a diseased man should worship the sun for cure. Similarly, if we associate with Krishna in Krishna consciousness, our maladies are cured. By chanting Hare Krishna, we can associate with Krishna. We can see the water as Krishna. We can see the sun and the moon as Krishna. And we can hear Krishna in the sound and taste him in water. Unfortunately, in our present condition, we have forgotten Krishna. But now we have to revive our spiritual life by remembering him. This process of Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, was approved by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Lord Chaitanya was speaking with Ramananda Rai, a friend of the Lord and a great devotee, the Lord questioned him about the method of spiritual realization. Ramananda recommended Varnashram Dharma, sannyas, and renunciation of the world, and so many other methods. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, of all these are not so good. Each time Ramananda Rai suggested something, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected it, requesting a better method for the spiritual development. Finally, Ramananda Rai quoted the Vedic aphorism, which recommended that one gives up all unnecessary endeavor in the mental speculation for understanding God, because by speculating, it is not possible to arrive to an ultimate truth. Scientists, for instance, may speculate about the distance between distant stars and planet, but they can never come to any conclusion without experience. One may go on speculating throughout the life, but never reach any conclusion. So where are these all conclusions? They are there in our scriptures. They are there. Their Bhagavad Gita is almost like complete Veda, concised, form of Vedanta. Vedanta is even like the concised form of all Veda and the conclusions. And Bhagavad Gita is also considered one of the Upanishads, like in which even more derived conclusions are recorded. And Lord Krishna is speaking himself. Then in Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary, we would say, on all that exists, all the Vedas, all the knowledge of body that exists. So, what is Srimad Bhagavatam teaching us? What is Srimad Bhagavad Gita teaching us? That Krishna is the source of everything. We are also part and parcel of Krishna. We have forgotten that bond. Now we have to revive it back and purify ourselves. Once we purify ourselves, then we can associate with Krishna and be with him in his abode. It is especially useless to speculate about God. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam recommends that all sorts of speculation should be given up. It is recommended instead of one becomes submissive, realize that one only is he an insignificant creature, but that this earth is only one small point in the great universe. The New York City may seem very large, but when one realizes that earth is one small spot one realizes that the earth is a small spot, and that on the earth, United States is just another small spot. And in United States, New York City is but just a small spot. And like that, New York, the individual, is only one out of the millions, right? So many people living. So first of all, Prabhupada is explaining here, in so many vast universes, there is one universe which is ours. Of them all, in whole universe, there's one small spot. If you see on the bigger picture, like the whole map, that earth is so small. Then that city that we are living, or country where we are living, is one tiny bit of that earth. And that state that we are living in is even more tinier. The city might be even more tinier. And that city also might have so many streets. One of that streets we live in. And in that street, there might be so many houses in the community. And that one might be our house. And in that house, so many people are living. And we are just one person of those people that are living. So how insignificant we are. But Krishna, has he forgotten us? No, he's within our hearts of each individual. He values. What does he value? Does he say, oh, these jivas are insignificant, let me forget about them, let me just be in my abode? No. Krishna is saying, I come in every universe, yada yada hi dharmasya, I come in every millennium to revive my devotees. Krishna is coming, and he really, so what does Krishna value? That bond of love, that relationship that we have. And from our side, we have forgotten. And that's why we have to revive it back. And Sri Prabhupada is explaining these things to us via these books that he has written. How fortunate are we now, right? Understanding all this. Okay. It is especially useless to speculate about God. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam recommends that all sorts of speculations should be given up. It is recommended instead of one becomes submissive, realizes that one only is an insignificant creature, but on this earth, and only one small point in the great universe. Okay, so we read that, right? That part, that New York City may seem big, but it might be just one insignificant. Even in that whole city, we might be just one person of the millions in the city, right? Realizing our insignificance in the face of the universe and God, we should not be artificially puffed up, but should be submissive. We should be very careful not to fall prey to the frog philosophy. Once, therefore, was a frog in the well, and upon being informed of the existence of the Atlantic Ocean by the friend, he asked the friend, oh, what is the Atlantic Ocean? So who knows this small analogy that Prabhupada is trying to explain here? So there was one frog, okay? He used to live in a small well. Frogs usually live in a tiny, like a reservoir or something small collection of water, right? That's where they live around, and they make their habitat around it, right? So all he has seen is that well water, right? He doesn't know, he has never been to Atlantic Ocean. You know how huge is Atlantic Ocean? Huge, right? Even just going across the Atlantic Ocean takes 8 hours in the flight. So imagine how huge that the speed of the flight is what? Like 30,000 miles per hour, and 8 hours. It's like thousands and thousands and thousands of miles is just the Atlantic Ocean. And this frog has just lived in a small well, and he has no experience of Atlantic Ocean. So how does he react if the friend told him that there is a vast sea? What does he say? Is the vast body of water, his friend replied. It is a vast body of water. He's saying that there is a vast sea, or is a vast body of water. And that frog is asking what? How vast is it? Is it double the size of the well that I'm living in? And isn't it like so kiddish to think like that? Or for us it might even seem funny, right? If frog doesn't even know. I mean, he's saying vast means like what? Like double the size of the well that he is in, or maybe 4 times the size. Oh no, the friend replied, it's much larger than that. Then frog is saying, how much larger? 10 times the size of the well? In this way, the frog went on calculating, but what is the possibility of his ever understanding the depth and the far reaches of the great ocean? Our faculties or experience and power of speculation are always limited. We can only give rise to such frog philosophy. And what is this kind of philosophy called? Frog philosophy. We can just speculate because our eyes are so tiny, we can see only until certain extent. Our eyes are not perfect. We cannot see in dark, and there is so much illusory. I had explained to you in one of the classes, right? How we can see illusion. We are seeing like it is a tree, but it's like the face of a man, right? So our senses or hearing, we can hear only until certain frequency. We cannot hear lower frequency or higher frequency than that. So our senses are limited, and from our sense, the speculation or perception, if we try to realize God, it is just not possible to realize the God. Then if we still think, oh, it must be like this, it must be like that, God must be like this. No, we have to take the word, what is given in the scripture, which is the word from the God himself. He's explaining to us his position. So our speculation is like thinking like a small frog, which can just, have a limited of his vision. But because of that limitation is in ourselves, we should accept what our scriptures are saying. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam recommends that we give up the method of speculation and waste time in trying to understand the Supreme. After giving up the speculation, we should do what we should do. The Bhagavatam recommends that one becomes submissive and hear the message of God submissively. This message may found also in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, in Bible, in Quran, and in any bona fide scripture. It may be heard from a realized soul. The main point is that one should not speculate, but should simply hear about the God. What will be the result of such hearing, regardless of whether he is a poor or a rich man, an American or a European or an Indian or a Brahman or a Shudra or whatever. If one hears the transcendental word of God, the Lord, who can never be conquered by the power of force, will be conquered by the love. Arjuna was his friend. Arjuna was friend of Krishna, but Krishna, although the Supreme Lord, became Arjuna's chariot driver, the menial servant. Why? Because Arjuna was so surrendered to the Lord. He had so much affection. He wouldn't do anything without Krishna's guidance. He always turned to Krishna whenever he was in difficulty. So that reciprocation of love, that is what Krishna is just bound by with us. Arjuna loved Krishna, and Krishna reciprocated his love in this way. Similarly, when Krishna was a child, he playfully took the shoes of Father Nanda Maharaj and put him on his head. Now imagine, he is the Lord of the universe. All this universe coming from him. Even Nanda Maharaj is coming. His father is coming from him. He is the source of everything. Still, just because of that pure love that he has for his father, he's taking the shoes of his father and putting on his head. That's just like, can you imagine? Like, it's just like pure love that conquers the Lord. He playfully took his shoes of the shoes of his father Nanda Maharaj and put on his head. People may try very hard to become one with God, but actually we can surpass that. We can become father of the God. Of course, God is the father of every creature, and he is no father himself, but He accepts his devotee, his lover, as a father. Krishna agrees to be conquered by his devotee out of love. All one has to do is hear his message of the Lord very carefully. Similarly, like Mother Yashoda, right? She binds the Lord. Now, even Mother Yashoda comes from Krishna, and she binds the Lord Krishna with the rope. How? How is it possible? It's possible because she is, surrendered to the Lord in the bond of love. And then, Krishna is reciprocating her love by being tied from her to fulfill her desire. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna gives additional way in which he can be perceived in every step of life. Punyagandaha prathviyam cha tejascha smi vibhasavo jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapascha smi tapasvishu. I am the original fragrant of earth. I am the heat in the fire. I am the life in the lives. And I am the penance of all ascetics. So not only those things that, the sound, the light, the taste, but Krishna is saying that I am the fragrance in the earth, the heat in the fire. Why do we use fire for? For cooking, for heat. And that Krishna is saying, although that fire exists, but that heat is coming from me, that I'm the source, I'm that heat of that fire. I am the life of the lives, and then I am penance of all the ascetics. What does it mean, penance? That even the person who might be striving so hard, it's like doing some austerities, but that ability again to perform that austerities, that's Krishna, and that penance itself is Krishna. That austerities that person would take, that's Krishna. The word Punya Gandha refers to the fragrance. Only Krishna can create flavors and fragrances. We may synthetically create some scent or fragrance, but these are not as good as the original that occur in nature. When we smell the good natural fragrance, we think, oh, here is God, here is Krishna. Or when we see some natural beauty, we can think, oh, here is Krishna. Or when we see something uncommon, powerful, wonderful, we can think, here is Krishna. Or when we see some form of life, we know that life is also coming from Krishna, right? Whether it be a tree, a plant, an animal, or a human being, we understand that life in those living entities is coming because of Krishna. So would we ever harm those? Would we ever feel like harming those if we understand that Krishna is the source in them? They are also parts of Krishna? No. We would never want to harm such plants, animals, human beings, trees, right? Or any form of life. We should understand that life is part and parcel of Krishna. As soon as the spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of Krishna, it is taken away, the body disintegrates, right? Then body just decomposes. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatamasmi tejas tejasvinamaham. Father Krishna is saying, O son of Pritha, I am the seed or the original seed of all existence. I am the intelligence in the intelligent. So he says the person is intelligent. Where is that intelligence coming from? That's also Krishna. Krishna is saying, I'm the intelligence of the intelligent and the prowess of the powerful man. If there is some powerful man, where is that power coming from? From Krishna. Here, again, it is explicitly stated that Krishna is in the life, all that lives. Thus, at every step, we can see God. People may ask, can you show me God? Yes, of course, God can be seen in so many ways. But if one closes his eyes, and says, I shall not see God, then how can you show him? Right? If you say that, oh, I don't want to see Krishna, even though knowing that Krishna is the light, Krishna is the water, everything around us is coming from Krishna. But if we still deny that, no, I'm just not interested, then there's nothing you can do to help that person, right? It's like, there is light outside the room, and the room has no windows. It's completely dark inside. It's just four walls and a little door. And he's inside that room and he closes his door. He doesn't want to come out. Then what will he see? Just the darkness. It is the same situation with us right now, actually. We are not seeing Krishna's presence everywhere around us, are we? But Krishna is saying all that exists is coming from me. If we don't want to see that, we are just ourselves putting ourselves in the darkness, in ignorance. In the above verse, the word bijam means seed, and that seed is proclaimed to be eternal, Sanatan. One may see the huge tree, but when the origin of this tree, what is the origin of that tree? It is the seed. And that seed is eternal. The seed of existence is within every living entity. The body itself may go through so many changes. It may develop within a mother's womb, come out of as a small baby and grow through the childhood and adulthood. But the seed of existence that is within is permanent. Therefore, it is Sanatanam, imperceivable. When we change our bodies at every moment, at every second, but the bijam, the speed or the seed, the spiritual spark does not change. Krishna proclaims himself to be eternal seed within all existence. He is also the intelligence in the intelligent person. Without the favor of Krishna, one cannot even become extraordinary intelligent. Everyone is trying to be more intelligent than other, but without the favor of Krishna, it is not possible. Therefore, whenever we encounter something with the extraordinary intelligence, we should think that intelligence is Krishna. Similarly, the influence of one who is influential is also Krishna. That means the power. See, the next verse is about the power. Balam balpatam chaham karma raga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamo asmi bharatarshava. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am the sex life within one, which is not contrary to the religious principles. The Lord of Bharata, O Lord of Bharata, Arjuna. Krishna is saying that power and everything that is, even the life that is coming from me. The elephant and the gorilla are very strong animals, and we should understand that they get their strength from Krishna. The human beings cannot acquire such strength by their own endeavor, but Krishna is so favored. If Krishna so favors, a man can get the strength exceeding the elephant thousands of times. The great warrior Bhima, you know how much strength Bhima had? The strength Bhima had was 10,000 elephants. How is it possible that one person can have strength more than an elephant? But by, again, mercy of or favor of Krishna, it is possible. The great warrior Bhima, who fought the battle of Kurukshetra, was said to have strength 10,000 times of an elephant. Similarly, desire of lust, karma, which is not against the religious principles. Any desire to enjoy, basically, but which is the right thing, like not the wrong thing. Then Krishna is saying even that desire or that enjoyment is coming from me. What is lust? Lust generally means sex life, but here karma refers to the sex life which is not against the religious principles. Okay, let's see, we want to finish the chapter today, so we'll read fast a little bit. Actually, there is no difference between the householder, provided that the householder's activities are based on the religious principles. So basically anything that even we enjoy, but within the religious principles, Krishna is saying that I am that source of that enjoyment. Okay. ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसस्तमसश्च ये मत्त एवेति तन्विद्धि नातो अहं तेषु ते मयि. Knowing that all states of being, be they be goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy, and I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So in this last paragraph, what is Krishna saying? Although all these things are coming from me, I'm the source, right? But he's still aloof, he's still independent of all that. So we'll read this quickly. One may question Krishna in this way. You say you, yes, you have a question, something? Okay, let's
we are going to read it.
Yeah, you want to read? Okay, go ahead and read maybe just like two, 3 lines from this paragraph. One may question Krishna in this way.
One may question Krishna in this way. You say you are sound, water, immutation, fragrance, the seed of all strength, and karma, desire. Does that mean that you exist simply in the mode of goodness? In the material world, there are the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus far, Krishna has described himself as that which is good, for instance.
Very nice, thank you. But what about the other modes? Does Krishna not exist in them? In answer, Krishna replied that whatever is seen in the material world is due to the interaction of 3 modes of material nature. Whatever can be observed is a combination of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And in that case, their 3 states are produced by me. Because they are produced by Krishna, their position is in him, but he is not in them. For Krishna himself is a transcendental to these 3 modes. Therefore, sense of bad and evil things which are produced out of the ignorance are also Krishna. But when they are applied by Krishna, how is this? For example, electrical engineer is producing electric energy, but our homes, we are experiencing the electric energy as coldness in the refrigerator or heat in the electric stove. But the power plant electric energy is neither cold nor hot, right? Do you understand? Are you following this example? From the same electricity in the house, we have the refrigerator that is running, which is making things cold, right? And there is, on the other hand, there is a heater, which is making us warm. So is that electricity who's making, is that electricity itself is cold or warm? No, electricity is just the power, right? Or ability to run those functions, the heat and the cold. Similarly, Krishna, although he is source of everything, but how we use that is on our own choices, our own desires. So Krishna is independent of those things. If somebody is doing something bad, then, although that ability is Krishna, but doing something wrong was his choice. And then he has to face the reaction. That's what Krishna is saying here. The manifestation of this energy may be different for living entities, but Krishna is non-different. For Krishna, they are non-different. Therefore, Krishna sometimes acts what appears to be the principle of passion or ignorance, but Krishna, there is nothing. But for Krishna, there is nothing but Krishna. Just for electrical engineering, energy is simply electricity, but nothing else. He can make no distinction whether it is cold electricity or hot electricity, right? How we use it, it is on our own. Okay, so I think there is just one conclusion line. Everything is being generated by Krishna. Indeed, the Vedanta Sutra confirms Thato Brahma Jigyasa, Janmadhyasya Yataha. Everything is flowing from the supreme absolute truth. What the living entity is considered to be bad or good is only so for the living entity, for he is conditioned. But Krishna is not conditioned. For him, there is no question of bad or good because we are conditioned, we are suffering from these dualities. But for him, everything is perfect. So that's how, Krishna is the source of everything. Basically, that's the essence of this chapter. And that's why it's because he is the source of everything. We can see Krishna everywhere and always. That was the chapter. Who liked the chapter? Did you all understand and, did you like the chapter? Yay, very nice. Okay, so anybody would like to ask any question? Or anything they would, yeah. Go ahead.
Can you repeat the example about the frog?
Yeah, so
I couldn't hear the last part because of my internet.
Okay, so see, the frog is living in a small well, and there is something that exists out there, which is an Atlantic Ocean, thousands and thousands of miles, we know, right? And somebody is telling that frog that there is a very vast ocean. And that frog is saying, okay, how vast is that ocean? Is it double the size of my well? We would generally just think like, okay, double, then this is big, right? Or he's saying, no, even bigger, saying like 2 times, no, 4 times, 10 times. Is it like the 10 times that my well, size of my well? He's saying no. If he has never experienced what the ocean is like, Atlantic Ocean, which is like thousands and thousands of miles, how could he imagine that, the depth and the length and the intensity of that sea? So similarly, the example was given why? Because of our limited senses. We have our limited senses. We can see only until certain level. We can hear only until certain frequency. Our intelligence is very small, just like frog. Can we imagine on our own speculation that how vast the universe is and what is actually the power of Krishna and how Krishna's abode is? Can we speculate or come to any conclusion on all that tattva or absolute truth or absolute reality? No.
Oh.
That is actually our limited senses that we have. That is our, we cannot say fault, but that limitation is in us. And that's why we have to accept what Krishna is giving us, or what scriptures are giving us, what Guru is enlightening us. And that's how that analogy of the frog is, that we don't want to become like a frog philosophy, right? That, is it like this? Is it like that? No, Krishna is saying, what is Krishna saying? He's saying, I am the taste in water. I am the ability in the man. I am the light in the sun. And if Krishna is saying all that, we have to accept that. And we can see Krishna everywhere. Is it hard then if we come to that consciousness? Is it hard to forget Krishna? No. Did you follow, Jyotna?
Yes, Mataji.
Very nice. Anybody else would like to share anything? So you're all enjoying the reading. It's so nice, right? Very nice. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll end by our Mahamantra. Hare, we all can say together. You all can unmute. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vansha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Nanda Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Okay, we'll see you again next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.